Welcome in today's session. Today we are discussing Jean-Jacques Rousseau. His first discourse on the sciences and arts. It is edited by Susan Dunn. It's in the preface. Rousseau says, "This is one of the biggest and most important questions people have ever discussed." Actually, Academy of Dijon in Paris, it held an essay competition, and Rousseau participated in that competition. He was a contestant, and his essay won the first prize in the essay contest. And this is actually that essay which won the first contest, which is now famous as the first Rousseau's first discourse. So today we are discussing it, trying to understand what was something special in this Rousseau, in this essay by Rousseau. So in the preface, Rousseau says, "This is one of the biggest and most important questions people have ever discussed." The question is coming. He will mention the question. That was the topic of the competition, essay competition. This discourse does not deal with difficult, abstract ideas. These complicated ideas often take over literature. Abstract ideas are complicated in Rousseau's view, and they often take over literature. Even announcements for academic competitions are not always free from abstract ideas which are complicated. Instead, this discourse talks about truths that directly relate to human happiness. Human happiness. Now, let me draw your attention to one thing. Your course is Theories of Politics. In this course, we have first discussed John Locke, and John Locke's I think first discourse, and in which he criticizes Robert Filmer for his theory of slavery and theory of dictatorship. And John Locke in fact explains his theory of freedom, theory of liberty in that discourse. So theory is something which is general. Anything which is generalized knowledge, that is theory, whether the word theory is written over there or not. So we are studying these discourses and treatises, but in fact, the whole philosophy, political philosophy, here it is it comprises several theoretical theories on politics, and as you know, all collective issues are subject of political science. Anything which is a collective issue, it is the subject of political science. It is part of political science. So, human happiness, collective happiness, societal happiness, or national happiness, or global happiness, it is also a collective issue. So, since this discourse by Rousseau deals with human happiness, it can be taken as theory of happiness or theory one of the theories of politics. So I thought you should be able to relate it to your course. So Rousseau says this discourse talks about truths that directly relate to human happiness. I know people may not easily forgive me for my opinion. Rousseau says people may not forgive me for my opinion in this uh, essay. I know I have taken a bold and risky position. I am going against everything that is most admired in my time. So I expect almost everyone to criticize me. I know that the approval of a few wise people is not enough for me to hope for public approval, but I have made my decision. I do not worry about pleasing cultured or fashionable people. There will always be people who are controlled by the opinions of their age. No, in fact, he is criticizing the people who cannot think on their own, who do not have their own thinking capacity, and they just follow the opinions of others. He says there will always be people who are controlled by the opinions of their age. There will always be people shaped by their society. A man who acts like a free thinker and philosopher today would have been a fanatic in the time of the Holy League for the same reasons. So the philosopher, the thinkers who have their own thinking, who are more capable, uh, generally society considers them fools or fanatics. Holy League. What was the Holy League? In fact, there were two Holy Leagues. There were two European leagues sponsored by the papacy. Papacy, the people in the church, Pope and his hierarchy. In the late 15th and early 16th centuries, formed for the purpose of protecting Italy from threatened French domination. So these were the Holy Leagues. An author who wants his work to live beyond his own era should not write for such people. Rousseau says an author who wants to uh, write something that is more valuable even beyond his life should not write for the people who follow the opinions of the society. I want to add one last point, Rousseau says. I did not expect the honor that was given to me. Rousseau says he did not expect the first prize in the contest. After submitting my discourse, I changed it a lot. So he kept on working it after submitting it. I expanded it so much that it became almost a new work. But today I felt that I must publish it exactly as it was when it won the prize. I felt that I must publish it exactly as it was when it won the prize. Because he is telling the readers that this essay won the prize. So he says, I am publishing the same script, same draft, which won the prize. So the changes or the addition and omission which were made later are not incorporated in this draft. He says, I added only a few notes. I also kept two additions that are easy to recognize. The Academy might not have approved these two additions, but fairness, respect, and gratitude made me feel that I must acknowledge this. So, actually, it is academic honesty for any writer, any researcher, any scholar, philosopher to let the readers know the real thing, the reality. So, being an honest academic, honest philosopher, honest author, Rousseau is telling us that he has made only two, three changes to the actual draft. Now, the discourse starts. In the beginning of the discourse, Rousseau uh, gives a famous quote by Horace. In this quote, Horace says, "We are deceived by the appearance of good. We are deceived by the appearance of good." He is not saying we are deceived by the good. We are deceived by the appearance of good. When actually something is not good, but it appears good. The question to examine in the contest was: has the revival of the sciences and the arts improved morality, or has it corrupted morality? It was the question. I repeat the question. Has the revival of the sciences and the arts improved morality, or has it corrupted morality? Rousseau says, I ask myself which side I should take. I choose the side that fits a respectable person. I choose the side of someone who knows nothing. I choose the side of someone who does not feel bad for knowing nothing. I can already feel that it is difficult to speak here. I must criticize the sciences, but I am speaking before one of the most learned assemblies in Europe. I must praise ignorance, but I am speaking to a famous academy. I must reconcile my dislike for study with the respect that is due to truly learned people. I knew these contradictions, but they did not discourage me. I said to myself, I am not attacking science, I am defending virtue. Virtue means goodness, and I am speaking before virtuous people, good people. Good people value honesty. Good people value honesty even more than scholars value big knowledge. So, why should I be afraid? Should I fear the enlightenment of the assembly? Yes. By assembly, he means here the people who are conducting the competition, who are organizing the competition, and who will be among the jury, who will be the judges for this competition. I think he is referring to them as the assembly, academic assembly. Yes, I should fear it, but only regarding the structure of my speech, not regarding the views that I hold. A just person is happiest when a fair and enlightened judge decides his case. So, here again, he is referring to the judges who will decide the competition. A just person is happiest when a fair and enlightened judge decides his case, even if the judge is also involved in the case. Because judges, they have their own views on this question. They may take one side or the other. So, this way, they are also part of this case. And the case is to decide whether sciences and arts have improved morality or corrupted it. This is the case which is going to be decided in the competition. This reasoning gives me confidence, and it joins with another reason I decided to speak. After defending truth as I sincerely see it, no matter what happens in public, I will still receive one reward, Rousseau says. I will find that reward in my own heart. It is a great and beautiful sight to see a human being rise from nothing. A person uses effort to rise. A person uses the light of reason to remove the darkness that nature put around him. A person lifts himself above his limits. A person's mind rises to the heights of the heavens. A person walks across the universe in thought like the sun moves across the sky. And something even greater and more difficult happens. A person also returns into himself. He studies himself, he learns about human nature, he learns about human duties, he learns about human destiny. All of these wonders have come back to life in the last few generations. Europe had fallen back into the barbarism of the earliest ages. The people of this part of the world, in Europe, which today is very educated, lived only a few centuries ago in a condition worse than ignorance. You may recall Dark Ages of Europe. Rousseau is referring to them. A strange and empty kind of scientific language had taken the place of real knowledge in Europe. This false language was more shameful than simple ignorance in the Dark Ages. It stood as a nearly unbeatable barrier to the return of true knowledge in Europe. A revolution was needed to bring people back to common sense. The revolution finally came. It came from a place where no one expected it. It was the Muslim, always seen as stupid and as the enemy of learning, who caused learning to return. So many non Muslims believed Muslims were not wise, they were stupid. So Rousseau is drawing their attention to the fact that the revival of knowledge came from Muslims. The fall of the throne of Constantine sent the remains of ancient Greece to Italy. Remains of ancient Greece means the wisdom, the knowledge which was created in Greece. Italy received these precious remains. Then France received them from Italy, the wisdom, the philosophy of the Greeks. After literature returned, the sciences also returned. The art of writing was joined by the art of thinking. This order of events looks strange, but perhaps it is the most natural order. People began to understand an important benefit of studying the arts and sciences. This benefit was that people become more sociable. These studies made people want to please one another. They tried to please each other with works that were worthy of mutual respect. The mind has needs just as the body has needs. The body's needs are the base of society. The mind's needs are the base. I'm going back. There's some confusion. The mind has needs just as the body has needs. The body's needs are the base of society. The mind's needs are the decoration of society. Government and laws protect people's safety and well being in social life. The sciences, letters, and arts also act on people. They are less commanding than government, but they are perhaps more powerful. They put beautiful flower garlands on the chains that already hold people down. They make people forget the freedom they once had. They make people forget that they were born for freedom. They make people love their own servitude. They turn people into what is called a civilized nation. Need created kings and thrones. The sciences and arts strengthened and supported them. The sciences and arts let powerful rulers love all the talents of their people. The sciences and arts let them protect the people who practice these talents. Civilized people, keep developing your talents. Rousseau is addressing the civilized people and asks them, keep developing your talents. You are happy slaves. You owe your talents many things. You owe them the delicate and refined tastes you are so proud of. You owe them your sweet and gentle manners. You owe your talents the polite behavior that makes social life smooth and pleasant. You owe them the appearance of all the virtues, but you do not possess even one real virtue. But you do not possess even one real virtue, one real goodness. This kind of simple politeness once made Athens and Rome famous. They were famous during their great ages of splendor and greatness. The same kind of politeness is found in our own era and in our own nation. Our era and our nation will probably be superior to all others. Today we have a tone of philosophy without showing off. We don't show off philosophy. Our manners are natural, yet also polite. They are far away from the roughness of old German ways. They are also far away from the exaggerated gestures of Italians. These behaviors come from the taste developed by liberal studies. These behaviors are perfected through social interaction. These polished ways of speaking and behaving are the results of study, the results of knowledge. They are also the results of living socially with others. Through these studies and interactions, people learn to refine themselves. They learn to behave in a way that looks wise and pleasant to everyone around them. Sciences and arts have sometimes been useful, but they became useful only by accident. Their main purpose was not to help virtue, they helped virtue only unintentionally. Sciences and arts helped goodness only unintentionally. Sciences and arts brought many evils along with themselves. These evils came naturally from their growth, from the growth of sciences and arts. These evils came naturally from the progress of sciences and arts. Today, people are so used to these evils, which are brought by sciences and arts. These evils feel so common. People start calling them necessary evils. People find excuses for them. People tolerate them. People even become fond of these evils. And people finally worship these evils. If this is truly a good thing, then nothing can be more comforting. But if this is not a good thing, then nothing can be more dangerous. People are sure that modern amusements make the mind gentle. Modern amusements make the mind gentle. People are sure that modern entertainments make the mind polite. But everything in nature shows the opposite. Everything in nature shows the opposite. A simple mind can mistake cruelty for roughness, but softness does not prove kindness. Sweet words do not prove good intentions. Refinement does not prove virtue. These enjoyable entertainments control us strongly. They hold our hearts. They capture our emotions. They make us suffer quietly. They make us weak without our noticing. They create a taste for comfort. They create a taste for luxury. And these tastes shake moral courage. People often complain that rustic people are rough. Who are rustic people? Rustic means relating to countryside, relating to rural things, rural life. Its second meaning is made in a plain and simple fashion. It is also rustic. They say villagers are hard in manners. People in the urban areas say villagers are hard in manners. They say villagers behave without grace, but rustic people are sincere. Rousseau says the villagers are sincere, although they don't know grace. Rustic people are honest. Rustic people are straightforward. Rustic people have firm and healthy virtues. They have goodness. Rustic people say what they feel, so they are genuine. Rustic people do what they say, so they are sincere. City people laugh at the rustic man. City people feel superior. City people show polite smiles, but their smiles hide their true thoughts. Their fine manners hide their real intentions. When people begin to depend on amusements, they become weak. They lose the strength to resist temptations. They lose the power to control their desires. They lose the ability to prefer virtue over pleasure. These entertainments slowly destroy humaneness. They destroy firmness of character. They destroy true courage of the heart. To appear virtuous becomes more important than to be virtuous. Let me repeat. Rousseau says to appear virtuous becomes more important than to be actually virtuous. People try to look good, they don't try to be good actually. People pretend to be good, they pretend to be gentle, they pretend to be noble, but their actions do not match their appearance. Their hearts do not match their words. Many people talk of honesty. Many people praise public good. Many people admire noble feelings, but very few practice these things. A man can appear friendly, a man can appear humane, a man can appear compassionate, but when he faces a real test, he fails. His softness disappears, his fine talk disappears, his real character shows itself at the time of the test. When life becomes full of players, good habits weaken, virtues weaken, people forget their duties, they forget their obligations to society, they forget their obligations to others, they think only about their comfort, they think only about their pleasure. Their hearts become cold, their minds become selfish, their lives become empty, their actions become meaningless. Some wise people were able to resist the strong trend around them. They lived among the muses. Muses, the meanings of muses. In Greek and Roman mythology, each of nine goddesses, the daughters of Zeus and Mnemosyne, who preside over the arts and science, Yes, yes, dear scholars, I am back. Abbas called me, your class fellow, and yes, he wanted to know my location. Okay, yes, we were discussing that Rousseau says when people develop some fondness for comforts, pleasures, and luxuries, their actions become meaningless. Some wise people were able to resist the strong trend around them. They lived among the muses, and the meanings we were discussing the meanings of muses in Greek and Roman mythology. Each of nine goddesses, the daughters of Zeus and Mnemosyne, who preside over the arts and sciences. Muses also means muse, a person or personified force who is the source of inspiration for a creative artist. They kept their characters safe. Muses, the wise people, they kept their characters safe. But listen to what the greatest and most unhappy of them said. Listen to what the greatest and most happy of the wisest people said. In fact, he is talking about Socrates. Socrates spoke about the poets and the artists of his time. He said, I looked at the poets. I see them as people who fool others. They also fool themselves. They act as if they are wise. People think they are wise, but they are not wise at all. Poets. Then Socrates said, he turned to the artists. He said, no one knew less about the arts than he did. In other words, all artists knew more than Socrates about the arts. He truly believed artists had great secrets, but he discovered they were not better than the poets. Both artists and poets make the same mistake. The most skilled among them do their work well. Because of this, they think they are the wisest people. This pride made Socrates respect their knowledge even less. Socrates asked himself, who would I rather be, myself or them? He asked himself, what would I rather know, what they have learned, or my awareness that I know nothing? He answered honestly to himself and to God, I want to stay as I am. I want to keep the knowledge that I know nothing. Socrates said. Socrates said, none of us know what truth is. None of us know what goodness is. None of us know what beauty is. But here is the difference between them and me. They know nothing, but they believe they know something. I know nothing, and I have no doubt about my ignorance. This is the difference between me and they. This is the wisdom the oracle gave me. Oracle means a priest or priestess acting as a medium through whom advice or prophecy was sought from the gods in classical antiquity. It all comes down to this. Socrates says, it all comes down to this. I clearly understand that I am ignorant of what I do not know. Here is the man considered the wisest by the gods. Here is the most learned Athenian, respected across all of Greece. This man praises ignorance. This man does not praise sciences and arts. He praises ignorance. If he came back to life today, if Socrates came back to life today, he would not change his mind. He would not admire our scholars. He would not admire our artists. He would still think our sciences are vain. He would not add anything to the pile of books that surround us. So Rousseau says, even if Socrates comes back to life, again he will not write books. He would give only one rule to his followers and our children. He would give the same rule as before. He would leave only the example of his virtue, the example of his goodness. He would leave only the memory of his virtue, his goodness. This, Rousseau says, is true education. So, the true education is to set an example of goodness. Rousseau says, he asks, did you shed your blood in Greece and Asia only to enrich architects, only to enrich painters, sculptors, and actors? He asks, are the treasures taken from Carthage meant for a flute player? He calls out to the Romans, hurry, tear down your amphitheaters, break your statues, burn your paintings, send away the slaves who dominate you, send away the slaves whose dangerous arts corrupt you. He says, let others win fame through such empty talents. The only talent worthy of Rome is conquering the world. The only talent worthy of Rome is making virtue rule. In other words, the only talent worthy of Rome is to spread goodness. When Cineas saw the Roman Senate, he thought it was a gathering of kings. Cineas was an advisor in Greece of King Pyrrhus. He had a reputation for great wisdom. Cineas. He did not notice pomp. He did not notice fancy behavior in the Roman assembly. He did not hear meaningless speeches. Such speeches delight small, shallow minds. What majesty did Cineas see in the Roman assembly? It was something that wealth and culture could never create. It was the noblest sight under the heavens. It was the assembly of 200 virtuous men, 200 good men. These men were worthy of ruling Rome. They were worthy of governing the world. We should look also at our own time. But it is better to skip the disgusting examples in our own society. This will save us from repeating the same things again. It was not useless to bring up the spirit of Fabricius, because the same words could be spoken by Louis XII of or Henry IV. In our own times, Socrates would not drink the hemlock. Hemlock is poison. Socrates had to drink the poison, but he would drink something worse. Rousseau says, in our times, Socrates would not drink the poison, but he would drink something worse, worse than poison, worse than hemlock. He would drink the bitter drink of mockery, mockery which is not genuine, which is not pure, which is not sincere. He would drink the bitter drink of scorn, contempt, disdain, and open disrespect. It is scorn. These insults would be worse than death. They are worse than poison. Now we can see something important. Luxury is a punishment. Moral corruption is a punishment, slavery is a punishment. These punishments come when humans try to escape the peaceful ignorance nature gave them. Wisdom covers herself with a dark veil. This veil should have warned us. It should have told us we were not meant to chase empty knowledge. Is there a single lesson from nature that we have obeyed? Is there a lesson we have ignored without harm? All nations need to understand something. Nature wanted to protect us from knowledge. She wanted to keep us safe. Nature protects us like a mother who takes a dangerous tool from her child. Every secret of nature is something she hides for our own good. The difficulty of learning these sacred secrets is one of her protections. Humans are already bad, but they would be far worse if they had been born learned. These thoughts are humiliating for humanity. These thoughts hurt our pride. Can honesty come from ignorance? Can virtue and knowledge not live together? Is virtue impossible when someone is learned? Many conclusions could come from these conclusion questions, but we can solve the apparent contradiction. To do this, we need to examine the sciences and the arts carefully. We must look at the empty pride behind fancy titles. These titles dazzle us. They dazzle us. They look very attractive. We give these titles too freely to human learning. We must look at the sciences and the arts as they really are. We must look at what comes from their growth. We must compare our own reasoning with what history teaches, and we must admit the truth whenever both sources agree. This is the end of the first part of the first discourse of Rousseau on sciences and arts. So, in the next session, we will discuss the second part of his first discourse on sciences and arts. So, I'm joining you again on WhatsApp. So let me first close YouTube.